Independent. Do you know what that mean, man? What's up? It's your boy Snafu Barrier. Let me just put it out there. That word, for man or woman, means dying alone. Thinking that you are independent, that you don't need anyone in your life, that you don't have to rely on anyone else, is a false sense of ability. We all rely on other people, whether it's the mailman to bring our mail, whether it's the truck driver that delivered the groceries to our grocery store, whether it's the person that manufactured our car. We may have opportunities like employment and careers which allow us to have money in our bank accounts and pockets to provide for ourselves. However, we are still dependent on others. So, being independent is a very false statement. Now, let's go a little further with that. You depend on people minimally to do these things. Yes, they have to do them in order for you to be able to access them, even if you have the money. If the truck driver breaks down, runs off the road, the things in that truck don't get to the store, and there's an empty spot on that shelf when you go in there. Or if that truck driver just doesn't do his job and is late delivering, there's usually just nothing there. So we have to understand that independence is not a real thing. Now, when it comes to relationships, if you want to be independent and not depend on anyone else, if you want to live by yourself, pay your own bills, and not be beholden to anyone else, then that means we're social creatures. We may not have thousands of friends, but you need at least one or two people that you interact with on a semi-regular basis. And for most of us, that one person is a spouse, significant other, partner, whatever you want to call them, whatever term you want to use. But I'm a biblical type guy, and for me, it's a wife. For you, I feel like it's a spouse. So that being said, if you want to be independent and not be dependent or submissive to anyone, if you're a female, or might be dependent on your wife or girlfriend if you're a male, then what that means is that you're not going to have anyone in your life on a regular basis. You're not going to have a go-to person, and you are going to die alone. That submissiveness, ladies, is your sacrifice so that you have someone there that you can lean on when you need to. That dependence, gentlemen, on that helpmeet, that's a sacrifice for you so that you can have someone there when you really need help later in life, after all that working you've done has broken your body down. Come on, y'all. Let's stop all this independent stuff, especially for the ladies. Biblically, it was never supposed to be that way. It was not so from the beginning. You're his rib. He is your shield and shelter. He is the conduit from you to God. It's God, Jesus, Savior, whatever you want to call it. I know some of y'all don't believe as I do. That's fine. The husband, the wife, the children. It's a tiered umbrella. The children are there, being nurtured and cared for by the wife, who is being cared for and provided for by the husband. In turn, the children are too. And then the husband, who is being led, nurtured, cared for, taught, educated by the Most High. The Creator is above all. The husband is below him. The wife is below the husband. The children, male and female, boys, girls, are below her. That's the order. That's the dependence. Children are dependent on their parents. The wife is dependent on the husband, and the husband is dependent on God. So in actuality, yes, the children are dependent on God, but there's a buffer in between because they don't understand. The wife is dependent on God as well, but there's a buffer in between because women communicate differently. They react off emotion rather than logic and rather than logic and practicality. A lot of decisions women made are emotional decisions. That's why they end up relationships for years and years with somebody who's beating on them, because that man somehow feels those emotional needs. And no, please don't come for me. Please don't. That's just my opinion. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just an old guy who's been around. But thanks for listening. Peace. It's your boy Snafu Barrier. Subscribe and like. I'm out.